In this step, I will demonstrate how to use the room layout tool and add a room in reference. Techline has the ability to allow you to lay out your elevations. It also allows you to lay out an elevation in a room. In the software, you will click on the Room Layouts tab. You will notice that it comes up with a blank page. The first thing that we'll do is define the room, and we will do that by clicking on Add Room over here. From here, we will fill out the following information. For room description, I will enter My House as the name. We will key in the overall room width, depth, and height. And we're going to leave these all the same for now for this example. Put in feet with a single tick mark and inches with a double tick mark, or type in the number of inches you want and it will automatically change to feet and inches. Next, we can set the top left corner, the top right corner, the bottom left corner, and the bottom right corner. Our options let us do normal, extra corner, or diagonal. We will leave the top two as is, but change the bottom left to an extra corner, and we'll change the width and the depth to 24 inches. And you can see that it automatically changes to 2 feet. And for the bottom right corner, we'll do diagonal, and we'll also do 24 inches again. So we'll click OK when we're done, and notice that our rooms appeared. We can notice that the top two are regular corners, and this one's a diagonal corner, and this one is an extra corner. Another function that Room Layout has is to bump the wall in and out. To do this, we can right-click on Wall 4 and choose Add Bump Out, Bump In. It will ask for a wall reference number, the start distance, and the bump out width and depth. We're going to leave these the same for this example, but it also notes that you may use negative depth to create a bump in instead of a bump out. So we'll click OK, and we'll see that our bump out's down here. These steps are what it takes to add and define a room. Now we're going to add a reference. A reference is selecting the elevation and placing it on a wall. The first thing we'll do is go to where it says Add Reference and click on it here. And under Elevation ID, click the down arrow, and we can see all of our options that we have previously defined. For this example, we're going to use the kitchen. It will ask us to indicate an elevation tag, which will be referenced to this elevation. Since our elevation is a 3, we'll use 3 for the elevation tag for this example. The wall reference number is indicating which wall the elevation will go on. I'll show you the drop-down arrows, and it'll also show the wall reference numbers in red over here. So we have wall reference 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 are down here, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, and 11. And for this example, we are going to use 1. Your X and Y offset will pull the elevation away from the wall or down from the walls. We'll leave these two in the plane view rotation as the default settings for this example, and press OK. We can see that it inserted on wall 1 in My House. To look at the front view of an elevation, left-click on the elevation tag icon and it will display. The more advanced way to add a room is to use the right-click. It is very important to place the mouse in the exact area where you want the elevation. If you click anywhere on the wall, it will place it on that wall. However, if you click anywhere in the room, it will be placed wherever we clicked. We will click inside of wall number 2, right-click, and choose to add an elevation reference. This time we will select Mailroom, and we'll make the elevation tag a 2. And we don't have to worry about the wall reference number here because we already right-clicked on the second wall. We will keep the X offset, Y offset in the plane view rotation to the default settings, and we'll go ahead and click OK. We will notice that it went to the right wall starting at the right top corner. Next, we will add an additional wall in the room near the kitchen. To do so, left click where we want the wall to be. So I'm going to stick mine right here, and then you just drag it down to however far you want it to go. You'll notice in the right corner grid under walls over here that we did add the extra 12 to this section, and that is referring to this wall that we just added. If you'd like to edit that wall reference, you can change the length by double-clicking on the length. So we're going to change this length to 100, and once we tab over, we can see that it got larger. You can also move the X offset if needed, but we will leave it for now. We will now add another reference by right-clicking to add an island area. And like I mentioned earlier, wherever you right-click is where we're going to want it to be, so I'm going to choose about right here to add the island. And then I'll right-click and go down to add elevation reference. This time I'm going to choose the island, put in a 4, and like I said earlier, it doesn't matter about this, number 1, because we already right-clicked and that's where it's going to go. So we'll click OK. Notice how the island went through the wall. So we'll go down here to where it says island and change it to a 78. And now you can see that we have it right where we would like it to be. We can also edit and delete a reference by selecting the number down here. So we could have done the same thing by clicking on it and choosing edit and changing the X and Y offset up here. Or we could go over to the island, right click, and choose to edit it from here. We can also delete it doing these same things. We have now successfully demonstrated how to add a room and reference in the LTO Planner.